Today, we're going to talk about the first appearances and key issues for the greatest day of the week, New Comic Book Day, September 7th, 2022. That's coming up next. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we get into talking about all the first appearances and the key issues and the great covers this week, I want to ask you, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do that now. Hit that subscription button, turn on that notification bell so that you get notified when I put out new content. Smash that like button and hang tight to find out what comment to leave below to be entered into this week's giveaway. All right, guys, so before we jump into the list this week, I do want to ask the folks that are watching this video if I should be doing this a little bit differently. I've noticed I'm not doing a ton of other content right now, so I'm really putting a lot of energy into this video, but it always ends up being anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes long, and that's a lot of video. And so what I want you to do, if you don't care, is in the comments below, let me know if you like the way it is, or if I should split the videos up. Like I could do one just for the covers. I could do one for the one-shots and the second prints. I could do one just for the first appearances and the keys. I could do just the keys. I could do just the first appearances. Would it be more consumable to you if I actually just split the video up and put it out on different days leading up to New Comic Book Day? So yeah, leave a comment below. And if you do that, leave the hashtag Comic Book Mafia. And I'm going to give you 5 books next week. I'm just basically going to randomly grab them out of a box over here, and I'll give those 5 books away next week on this video. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Should I keep doing it the way it is, or should I split it up into different videos? All right, now with all that out of the way, let's jump into the list. And I have a heck of a list this week. I have more covers than I probably ever had. There's a ton of second prints. There's a ton of one-shots. There's a ton of good books coming out this week. So let's jump into this thing. So first up, we've got from Dark Horse, we've got Avatar Adapter Die number 5. This cover is from Benny Lobel, and this is just a beautiful cover. Avatar, the movie, if you've ever rode the ride at Disney, just gorgeous. It's all, all senses on overload all the time. And this cover, I think, speaks very well to what the movie looks like, what the ride looks like. I just think this is gorgeous. Absolutely had to put it on my list this week. Now we jump over to DC, and this book has 3 different covers, and it's a book I'm really excited about. That's Batman Dear Detective number 1. This is a one-shot, and it is written and illustrated by Lee Bermejo. Now you've heard me say on here a bunch of times that Bermejo has absolutely been killing it on these detective comic covers. It's my understanding that he's basically taking those covers and somehow they're going to weave those together into a story. So this cover A, I just love that. It's classic Bermejo. Batman standing in front of the Batmobile with the fire. The city of Gotham's burning down behind him. Absolutely love that one. And probably my favorite of the 2, or of the 3, I guess, is this cover B variant. Now this is an incentive variant. It'll run you about $40. But again, that's just classic Bermejo with the Dear Detective and the neon lights. Absolutely love that. And then the cover C is the same as cover A. It's just a full variant, and that'll run you about $90. Now, keeping with Batman, Batman number 127, the cover A by Jorge Jimenez. I love this cover. Like, this is, I say it every week. It has to stand out to me when I see it. This one stood out to me. Absolutely love this. Just, Batman, the pain, the fight, the eye, in the cowl. Everything about it, I absolutely love. Now, the cover B for this same book says Batman 127. This variant is from Gabriel Dell'Otto. Beautiful cover, kind of a classic look for Dell'Otto. Batman looks like he's down in the sewer. Absolutely love this one as well. Had to include it on my list. Now, our next book up is with DC, and it's Black Adam Justice Society Files Atom Smasher number 1. I threw this book on here in honor of my boy Mark over at Legion of Comics. He loves Atom Smasher. That's the character he's most excited for in the new Black Adam movie. This cover B variant, it's a photo variant. I just thought it looked cool. I think of Mark every time I see Atom Smasher, so I wanted to include it here on the list. Now we've got Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths number 4. We got the cover F incentive from Nathan Sergi. This book will run you about 30 bucks. This is just a great Deadshot cover. Just, excuse me, just another, Surdsey, great variant cover. Next up, we've got Flashpoint Beyond number 5. This is the cover B variant by Exeter Monaco. This is, I'm assuming, Joker's daughter. Just kind of a sick looking cover. I love the yellow in the background. Just well done, and thought it had to absolutely be on my list. Then our next cover is also from Flashpoint Beyond number 5, and this is the cover C incentive variant from Scott Collins. You've got Captain Cold here on the cover with the glasses, and I absolutely dig these covers. You saw those a lot with Marvel, where you got the reflection of the person they were fighting. You have that here as well. Looks like Batman and a couple other characters actually in the cover. But I thought this was very cool. Captain Cold, and it looks cold. It just made me like, ooh, shiver when I saw it. So, beautiful cover. All right, next up we've got Poison Ivy number 4, the cover B variant from Jenny Friesen. Just a classic Jenny Friesen cover. Those eyes do it to me every time. Poison Ivy, that's just a beautiful cover. And then wrapping up our DC covers this week, we've got Sword of Azrael number 2. This is the cover C incentive by Matthias Mahoney. Just a great cover of Azrael. Yeah, I dig the red, I dig the black. Just kind of that abstract looking view of Azrael. Just a great cover as well. So yeah, like I told you, tons of covers this week. A lot of good stuff out. So let's jump over to our next cover, and this one comes from Dynamite. And this is 007 number 2, the cover B variant by Mark Aspinall. And this is a very simple but beautiful cover. It's just James Bond. Looks like he's sitting in a limo. You get the city lights behind him. And there's just something about that cover. He's in deep thought there. I don't know. I just love it. It really spoke to me when I looked at it. And there's another version of this. It's the actual Virgin variant cover. It's the cover H. And that goes for about $15. Now, next up, we've got Invincible Red Sonja number 10. This is also from Dynamite. The one I'm going to show you here on the screen is the cover F incentive from Carla Cohen. Just a beautiful cover. I mean, that's a beautiful cover of Red Sonja. Absolutely love that. And then this one goes for about 12 bucks. And then you've got a bunch of different variations of this cover. You've got a Virgin cover that goes for about 35. One they call Ultraviolet that goes for retail price $3.99. A black and white that also goes for retail price of $3.99. And then the Ultraviolet Virgin variant for $7. But no, gorgeous cover. Beautiful face on Red Sonja there. Absolutely love that one as well. All right, next up, and this was again from Dynamite. Ton of Dynamite covers this week. We've got Ninjets number 1, the cover B variant by Jonathan Lau. This is kind of a Charlie's Angel homage cover, and I just thought it looked cool. Dig Charlie's Angels, dig the look of this cover. So yeah, if you like this, check this out. Ninjets number 1, cover B variant. Now, love having a good Perillo cover on the list, right? Absolutely. Now, if you follow Dynamite at all, a lot of times they'll have some new books out each week, but a lot of what you see from them are these incentive covers that come out, and that's what this is. This is Vampirella Strikes number 4. This is the cover K limited edition from Lucio Perillo, and this is a Virgin variant. And that is a fire Lucio Perillo cover. I mean, look at that thing. The red Vampirella looking menacing and sexy all at the same time, resting on the skull of something. That is awesome. Like, that is a gorgeous cover. If I can find that one, I very well may pick that one up. I like it that much. All right, now, let's go over to Image. And we've got Dead Lucky number 2, the cover B incentive from Luke Gray. This one goes for about 20 bucks, but just a very cool looking cover. Again, like I said, it just kind of caught my eye when I saw it, and wanted to include it here on the list. And this is another, I talked about those reflections, but this is kind of a different look of that. This is Metal Society number 5, the cover B variant by Stepan Sejak. And this is basically, from what I can understand of the story, it's basically boxers and they fight these robots, right? Kind of like, what's that? What was that movie? Hugh Jackman was in it. Anyway, they fought the robots. Adam was the robot's name. But anyway, the robot's squaring up on this lady, getting ready to go. And I just thought this was a cool cover and wanted to include it here on the list. Now, this next one is also from Image, and I just thought this was eerie looking. Like a good piece of art will make you feel things, and this one made me feel weird. Like, it made me feel scared, and that is That Texas Blood number 17. This is the cover A, by Jacob Phillips. Dude with the mask on, shaving, it just looks sick. I mean, I was like, man, that is weird, scary, all at the same time. And that's exactly what I thought when I saw it. And I was like, that has to go on the list this week. Yeah, That Texas Blood number 17, the cover A by Phillips. All right, now let's jump over to Marvel. And I'm not necessarily a big Aliens fan, but I freaking love this cover. Like, when I saw it, I was like, man, this is sick. And this is the Aliens number 1. This is the volume 2, the new series from Marvel. This is the cover C variant by Travis Charest. It speaks for itself. It's absolutely sick. And then there's a Virgin variant of this as well. They call it the Cover D Preview Exclusive. Charest Inc.'s Virgin Diamond 40th Anniversary variant. It goes for about $15. But yeah, that's a great cover. Absolutely love that. And then we've got another Aliens cover, and this is the Cover E Incentive from Ryan Brown. This one goes for about $50. Again, what can I say? It's just kind of sick looking, scary looking. I like the gray, but I like the fire behind, and then just the clarity of the alien. I don't know. Like I said, just dig it. Absolutely sick cover. Scotty Young is the next cover. He's kind of like Peach Momoko for me. I either like it or I don't, right? It either works for me or it doesn't. This one works for me. I really like this cover. This is All Out Avengers number 1, the Cover C variant from Scotty Young. So yeah, you've got Blade on there. Absolutely dig that. I think that's a cool looking cover. And then this one is another one that I really kind of dug too. It kind of surprised me, but it jumped out at me. That's All Out Avengers number 1, the Cover D variant by J. Scott Campbell. And they call it the J. Scott Campbell Anniversary cover. The Cover F is a Virgin Incentive, and it goes for about $75. This one, the one I'm showing you on the screen, is retail price $3.99. And then there's a Cover G Retro variant for $160. But yeah, absolutely dig that cover as well. I think I could put a Ghost Rider cover on here every week. I don't, but I decided to this week because I really like this one. And this is Ghost Rider number 6, the Cover A from Cal Nagu. You got Ghost Rider and Wolverine going at it. Just a good cover. Nothing special, just a good cover. I really like it. And like I said, I could do that with Ghost Rider pretty much every week if I wanted to. And then another Ghost Rider cover. You kind of got Ghost Rider hanging out, on a cliff overlooking the city, and that is Ghost Rider, again, number 6, Cover B variant by Bjorn Berendis. So yeah, absolutely love that. Ghost Rider, I say it all the time, like Spawn and Venom, Carnage. It's hard not to have a great Ghost Rider cover. This is another one. Just really dig it. All right, now, this may be my cover of the week. I absolutely love this one. And this is Phantasmagoria number 1. All right? And it's just, again, it's kind of scary. You got the skull on the top. You've got the sick face with the all-seeing eye in the middle. Cityscape upside down. Looks like it's bleeding. Again, I love that cover. That one, probably my cover of the week. That's a definite pickup for me if I can find it. All right, and that's it for the covers. I told you I had a ton of covers this week, but I think there was a lot of really good art, cover artwork this week, and I didn't want to leave anything out, so there you go. Bunch of them. All right, now, let's get over into our second prints. We got a ton of these too. First up, we got Detective Comics number 1062, the Cover F second print by Julian Totino. We also have, again, it's the same cover. It's just a Virgin variant, and it's a full cover. And that's Detective Comics number 1062, Cover G second print. And like I said, that's just the full cover. Then 8 Billion Genies, very popular series. We got 8 Billion Genies number 1, the Cover I third print out this week. 8 Billion Genies number 2, the Cover D third print this week. 8 Billion Genies number 3, the Cover D third print. And 8 Billion Genies number 4, the Cover C second print. Then we jump over to Marvel. We've got Ant-Man number 1, the Cover E second print from Tom Riley. Daredevil number 1, the Cover K second print from Marco Cicchetto. Defenders Beyond number 1, the Cover G second print from Javier Rodriguez. Gambit number 1, the Cover G second print from Todd Knock. Star Wars The Mandalorian number 1, Cover I second print, and this is the photo variant cover. Then God Killers is a great cover. God Killer Spider-Land number 1, the Cover G third print. Grimm number 2, cover I third print from Flavino. And then wrapping up our second prints is Something is Killing the Children number 25, the cover J second print, the Werther del Etera variant cover. And of course, that is from Boom Studios. All right, now, ton of one shots too, okay? So I'm gonna kind of work through these. First up, we've got Batman Dear Detective number 1. Of course, that, as I stated earlier, it's written and drawn by Lee Bermejo. And the synopsis reads, what happens when a comics art powerhouse meets one of the greatest, most exciting heroes of all time? One part prestige art book, one part compelling noir tale. This is a one-of-a-kind edition that collects some of Lee Bermejo's most jaw-dropping Batman covers, woven together to tell a story that strikes right at the heart of the Dark Knight's never-ending crusade. So that is Batman Dear Detective number 1. Next up, from Calvin Scott and Brian Miller, we've got Black Adam, Justice Society Files, Atom Smasher number 1. And of course, this is just a prequel to the Black Adam movie. Al Rothstein has big shoes to fill, very big shoes. But he needs to prove himself before he can call himself Atom Smasher. He has the costume and he has a mission. He just has to make it through the night in one piece. So that's Black Adam, Justice Society Files, Atom Smasher number 1. And as it gets closer, I cannot wait for Black Adam to come out. Now, one of my favorite series, kind of out of continuity from DC is the Dark Knights of Steel. You've got a one-shot from them this week. Dark Knights of Steel, Tales from the Three Kingdoms number 1. This, of course, is a one-shot that takes place in the Dark Knights of Steel alternate universe. The El Kingdom has been ruled with integrity and honesty for generations, by families from the Waynes to the Els. The future of the kingdom lies with its 3 heirs and the challenges they will face. But what really prepared them for their tumultuous future? What stories defined Bruce, Zala, and Kal-El? So that is Dark Knights of Steel, Tales from the Three Kingdoms, number 1. Next up, we've got Wonder Girl, the 2022 annual number 1, and this is the first ever Wonder Girl annual. After an unforgettable first visit to Thessalonica, Yara Flor has been crowned Wonder Girl and her Esqueda tribe accepted into the Amazon Sisterhood. So now what? The jungles of Brazil beckon our heroes home, just in time for some new adventures. So that's Wonder Girl Volume 2, 2022, annual number 1. Star Trek, The Mirror Troy, number 1. This, of course, comes from IDW. The spotlight turns to Deanna Troi in this one-shot set in the mirror universe of the next generation. Expand upon the world of the Mirror War. At the turn of a new dawn for the Terran Empire, having achieved victory over the Carcadian Kilgon Armada, Deanna Troi reflects on just how far her ambition has driven her on her calculating quest to seek power and escape among the stars. So that is Star Trek, The Mirror War, Troy, number 1. One of my favorite characters of all time from the Transformers, The Best of Bumblebee, number 1. This book also comes from IDW. The Best of Bumblebee collects Plot of the Bumblebee from Transformers in 1984, number 16. Ghost Stories from Transformers Annual 2017. Dark Cybertron, Chapter 11 from Transformers Robots in Disguise, number 27. The World in Your Eyes, Part 2 from Transformers in 2019, number 2, and more. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I picked up all these one-shots from the Transformers, kind of the best ofs. I can't wait to pick up Bumblebee. Who doesn't love Bumblebee, right? I love Bumblebee. All right, now we've got Marvel, Spider-Man 2099, Exodus Omega, number 1. The final battle for the Celestial Garden begins. Spider-Man versus Norman Osborn. The X-Men versus the Cabal. 2 armies, 2 deadly enemies, and the keys to 2099's future up for grabs. It's a brawl for all. A brave new tomorrow for 2099 starts here. This concludes the 2099 story arc. So Spider-Man 2099, Exodus Omega, number 1. Another one-shot from Marvel, X-Men and Moon Girl, number 1. The High Evolutionary is a dino napper. With Captain Marvel's help, Lunella tracks him all the way to the moon itself to get him back and stop the High Evolutionary from setting an army of dino clones loose on Earth. But even when they're reunited, something's wrong. Her connection with Dee Dee has been broken. Now Moon Girl must team up with Wolverine and chase the High Evolutionary to counter Earth in search of answers, or risk losing her best friend for good. That's X-Men and Moon Girl number 1. From It's Alive, we've got A Girl and Her Dog, number 1. Writer John Holland, along with artist Hernan Gonzalez, delivers a moving love letter to dogs in A Girl and Her Dog. Evie is the girl, and Max is her dog. In Time Tossed Bits and Pieces, we see her life from age 15 to 84. Max is there for all the important moments of her life, even after his life has ended. Don't miss this life-affirming tale which speaks to the power of love even in the face of death. That's A Girl and Her Dog, number 1. Now, I was unsure if I really wanted to put this on here. I thought that's kind of cheesy, a love letter to the dog, but I have a dog that I love and would be devastated if something happened to it. So yeah, A Girl and Her Dog, number 1. It's probably not a book I'm necessarily going to pick up, but if that's something that interests you, it's definitely out there for you to grab this week. All right, now from Asylum Press, we've got Fearless Dawn, shorts number 1. 5 all-new short stories and 30 pages of content. All your favorite Fearless Dawn universe characters reenacting short stories from history, legend, and folklore. In Run-In, we freak out as Fearless Dawn encounters some ghouls and ghosties from the Haunted Devil's Inn. In General Mudd FD, defeats every army in sight. Flip out when you witness Jack the Ripper meeting his match. In Fight Fearless, Dawn takes on her arch nemesis Helga again for a duel to end all duels. That is Fearless Dawn, shorts number 1 from Asylum Press. From Ahoy Comics, we've got Highball number 1. Battlestar Galactica meets The Hitchhiker's Guide. For a game of darts, over shots. Meet space pilot Highball, the best shot in the galaxy except for one problem. He can only hit the target when he's dead drunk. In this outrageous first issue, he faces off against a fierce but alluring bird warrior, a disturbingly racist AI, a crypto-obsessed fellow pilot, the maddening bureaucracy of Space Corp, and of course, his own shameful inadequacies. Highball, saving the galaxy one pint at a time. That's Highball number 1 from Ahoy Comics. I think that sounds fun. That may be one that I pick up and give a read. Next up from Storm King Productions, we've got John Carpenter's Storm Kids, Stanley and Forgotten Forest number 1. Just as Halloween arrives, Chester Chipmunk claims to have solved the mystery of why a nearby woodland is known as the Forgotten Forest. His friends are sure that this is just another of his elaborate pranks. The thing is, his duck friend Billy Billington is going along with it, and those two never agree. Reluctantly, Stanley Squirrel and his other friends agree to go along to learn the truth. Only what they find in the shadows under the leaves is far more weird and frightening than how the forest got its name. So that's John Carpenter's Storm Kids, Stanley and the Forgotten Forest number 1. I'll leave that one to you guys to read. Next up, we've got Sabrina the Teenage Witch Anniversary Spectacular number 1 from Archie Comics. We couldn't possibly enter the spooky season without celebrating Sabrina as much as possible. It's hard to believe that October just around the corner, starting to see this Halloween stuff already. And we're kicking off this spectacular with a brand new Sabrina story that we guarantee will be the greatest Sabrina Halloween story ever, in celebration, vexation. It's Sabrina's birthday, and she's celebrating her B-Day with an epic battle against her nemesis, a brand new character named Amber Nightstone. Amber is an evil witch born at exactly the same time as Sabrina. Only one witch born that day may live amongst the mortals, and Amber wants her turn, so she has to erase Sabrina from history. All that plus a collection of classic-style, spellbinding stories. So that's Sabrina the Teenage Witch Anniversary Spectacular number 1. All right, so that wraps up our one-shots this week. I told you there were a ton of them. Let's jump over into the big two. As always, we start with DC. First up, we've got Batman Night Watch number 1. After a massive breakout at Arkham Asylum, Batman and his team are on a mission to bring all the escapees back. First on the list is Clayface. Using social media, Batgirl taps into an informal network to track the villain throughout the city. This inspires Penny One to create a more organized network of informants and spies called Night Watch. So that's Batman Night Watch number 1, and that of course is from DC. And then our last book from DC this week is Flashpoint Beyond number 5, where we get the origin of the Clockwork Killer. All right, now let's jump over into Marvel. First up, we've got Alien Volume 2 number 1. Of course, this is the second iteration of Alien from Marvel Comics, and this is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And as I said earlier, I'm not a big Aliens fan necessarily. I think it's cool. The movie was fine. but I think I might pick this up. I really like Philip Kennedy Johnson and the work he's done over on the Superman titles, Action Comics. So I think I'll check this out. But anyway, man, machine, and the most terrifying creature in the universe. It's an express elevator to hell, and you're going to want to be on it. A small colony of synths have settled in secret on a backwater moon. When a company of United Systems soldiers come to them for help retrieving biotechnology on a hostile planet that could be the key to saving humanity, the synths must decide whether the prospect of peace between man and machine is worth the risk of betrayal. So that's Alien Volume 2, Number 1. Then our last book from Marvel, we've got All Out Avengers Number 1. An alien attack, a missing piece of wormhole tech, a city warped, its citizens transformed into hideous creatures loyal to an empress from the far side of the universe, and a certain Captain Marvel looking to her fellow Avengers with murderous intent. Plunge into the action and take a deep breath, because you will not be allowed up for air as the thrilling new series kicks off in the strongest and strangest way possible. That's All Out Avengers Number 1 from Marvel. All right, so that's it for our big two. Let's jump over into our indies. A couple good books I'm really looking forward to reading this week from the indie companies. First up, from Aftershock, we've got Last Line Number 1. Sally Hazard just had the worst day of her life. While on an unusual shift as a driver for the Tube, the unthinkable happened when a man is pushed in front of her train and killed. But there's something strange here. Sally swears the man was pushed by her supervisors. Witnesses and the CCTV footage all show the man falling on his own. Sally cannot let this go, and her investigation into the murder introduces her to an MI6 agent named Edward Tarn, also curious about the so-called accident. Together, Sally and Ed discover an off-world explanation for the assassination, plus an alien invasion, and the craziest plot twist of all, an interplanetary travel system buried deep beneath the London Underground. So that is Last Line Number 1, and that's from Aftershock, and I think that sounds cool. I think that's a definite pickup and read for me this week. Next up, we've got a book from AWA Upshot, who has become probably one of my favorite publishers this past year. I really dig them. You know, I say all the time, I love Image, I like Aftershock, but AWA Upshot, man, has really been bringing it. Got another good book out this week, and that's called Erratic Recharge Number 1. Recharge complete. The teenage hero with superpowers that only work for 10 minutes a day is back to save the world again as he navigates even more pressing perils. Young love, bullies, a broken family, and the gauntlet that is high school. This time, young Oliver Leaf is teamed with a barbarian princess who claims to be from another dimension. Spinning from the pages of The Resistance, Erratic combines electric action, teenage drama, and pure comics fun. So that's Erratic Recharge Number 1 from AWA Upshot. From Ablaze, we've got Boogeyman Number 1. Monsters don't only exist in children's minds. Passionate about reading, Elliot has always had a preference for the stories of boogeymen, those monstrous creatures which at night hide in the shadows or under the bed to frighten little children. He can't imagine how much they will change his life. Witnessing the bloody murder of his parents, he will discover that, in reality, boogeymen do indeed exist, and very precise codes govern their existence. When one of the most powerful boogeymen, Father Death, decides to protect him, Elliot finds himself plunged into a terrible conflict at the heart of a universe as terrifying as it is fascinating. On a dark, stormy night, Elliot's destiny will be fulfilled. So that's Boogeyman Number 1 from Blaze. That's one I really like the way that reads, that synopsis reads. I'm definitely going to check that one out. All right, now from Black Caravan, we've got a couple of good titles this week. We've got Blade in the Dark Number 1. They came, masked in the dead of night, and burned the village to ash. Rook of the Hidden Song, sole survivor to his people, must seek vengeance. Yet the path ahead is strewn with hidden dangers. Monstrous creatures inhabiting the skins of the dead and dying human soldiers, warped by supernatural forces and rogue gods, intent on mischief and destruction. Rook must cut a path of blood and reclaim the treasured heart of his ashen village, or die in an attempt to take his place alongside his slaughtered kin. That's Blade in the Dark Number 1. Now, the cover I showed you earlier, Phantasmagoria Number 1. In the Victorian London, an intruder from the outer has been summoned, leaving behind a series of gruesome killings. The mysterious Professor Hawk helps the possessed Jane Grantley to get rid of the creature. Hawk is an old, powerful wizard, but he's not the only wizard in London, and the others may not be on his side. So I'm definitely going to check that out. Just that cover is going to make me buy that number one. But I think that sounds like a pretty cool read, so I'm definitely going to pick that one up as well. So that's Phantasmagoria, number one from Black Caravan. So next up, we've got Dark Horse and Shock Shop, number one. Colin Bunn, Danny Luckert, and Leah Lees present a brand new horror anthology flip comic taking place in a haunted comic book shop with a twisted retailer filled with tales of terror sure to leave you with the lights on. In Familiars, after a painful divorce, Trevor rents a house and tries to rebuild his life. Soon he discovers that his house appears to be haunted by more than one spirit, and the creatures begin feeding on Trevor's feelings of anger and guilt. In Something in the Woods, in the Dark, a husband and wife going through a tough time go on a camping trip with a few family friends. As they trek further into forest, they realize that they are being stalked. Something in the Woods starts killing the camper, and it may have ties to the campers more than any of them realize. So I think that sounds cool. I like the idea of a twisted comic book shop owner in a haunted comic book shop. I don't know. I just think that sounds fun. So Shock Shop, number one. And again, that's from Dark Horse and written by Colin Bunn. From Devil Do Publishing, we've got Trailer Park Boys in the Gutters, number one. The Trailer Park Boys are back with an all-new anthology comic book. First, they made a comic book. Then they were bagged and boarded. But now they're right where they belong, in the gutters. This new comic book contains 40 pages of hilarious, violent, and messed up stories following Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles from haunted trailers to the beginning of all time and more. Trailer Park Boys in the Gutters, number one. From Dynamite, we've got Ninjettes, number one. Now, Ninjettes is a spinoff from the Jennifer Blood series. And it says, basically, the synopsis says, bursting from the pages of Jennifer Blood, meet the Ninjettes. These college-age women were taught to fit the profile, forced to become deadly and expendable assassins. But who created the profile? Why were they selected to be its latest deadly operatives? And who will they kill first, their targets or each other? It's all-out action from writer Fred Van Lint and artist Joseph Cooper. That is Ninjettes, number one from Dynamite Comics. From IDW, we've got Star Trek, 400th issue, and that is IDW celebrating the 400th issue of Star Trek. From Image, title I'm looking forward to, Antioch, number one. Frontiersman creators Kinlan and Ferrari pick up where that series left off with an all-new ongoing series. A king from a lost continent enters the world of a man with a purpose to stop us from killing the planet. But when he finds himself in a superhuman prison, his title is useless and his powers only matter if they help him survive. That is Antioch, number one from Image Comics. All right, now we got a couple from Scout this week. First up, we've got Bush Leaguers, number one. The Brooklyn Bridegrooms baseball team is the shame of the late 19th century New York City. The Cranks can't stand them, the team owner wants to burn the stadium to the ground, and the police want to send them up the river. Can they make a comeback, or are they history? Find out in this comedy adventure from Scout Comics. Enjoy the first issue of this non-stop title, followed by the entire collection soon after in one volume. That is Bush Leaguers, number one. I think that sounds fun. I like baseball. I don't know. I just think that sounds cool. All right, last book on our key issue list this week is also from Scout, and it's New Rat City, number one. It's 2083, and there's not much left of New York City after years of floods, pests, and infrastructure mismanagement. The only people keeping the city habitable for its few remaining residents are the pest controllers, and humane laws mean they generally aren't allowed to kill. Felicia Shepard is a pest controller who has recently taken over the family business after her mother disappeared and a rat-related accident took her dad out of commission. Felicia does the best she can for her clients, but her job becomes much harder when swarms of unnervingly organized pests start running rampant across the city. Enjoy the first issue of this non-stop title, followed by one entire story collected soon in one volume. So that is New Rat City, number one. I guess that's a play on New Jack City. New Rat City, number one from Scout Comics. All right, guys, that wraps up our key issues list this week. A lot of good titles out this week, books I'm looking forward to reading from the indie companies. But all those are done now. Let's jump over into our last category, and that is our first appearances. First up, Sabrina Anniversary Spectacular #1. We get the first appearance of Amber Nightstone. This is a girl or an evil witch born at the same time as Sabrina. Captain America Sentinel of Liberty #4. We get a possible first cameo appearance of Revolution. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths #4 from DC. We get the possible first full appearance of Red Canary. Couldn't confirm that, but the cameo was in the last issue. Pretty good chance that the first appearance will be in this one. And then in Black Panther #9, we get the first appearance of the Colonist, a galactic interloper, and a possible first cameo or full appearance of Buffalo Soldier, a lieutenant of the Colonialists. And that's it, guys. That is the first appearances for this week, and that wraps up our list. It's a big list. I know I haven't even checked the time on this yet. It's going to be at least 30 minutes long. But that leads me to what I said at the beginning. Do a giveaway this week. I'm interested in your comments about the video. Mainly, should I split this up into different videos? Should I do one just for the cover? Should I do one just for the second prints and one-shots? Do one just for the indies? What should I do? You guys kind of let me know, because, you do these YouTube videos and you're trying to get the algorithm right to pick up your stuff. Well, this video does very well. A lot of people watch it, or at least for my channel, a lot of people watch it. But it's 25 to 30 minutes long half the time. So it just seems like it would be easier consumed if it was in shorter snippets. So anyway, let me know down in the description, in the description below. I've been talking for a long time. Let me know down in the comments below what you think we should do. Leave the hashtag Comic Book Mafia. And then I'm going to give away some books next week on this video. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out on my channel today. I really do appreciate it. Hope this video helps you in some way making your selections on New Comic Book Day. Hope you guys have the greatest New Comic Book Day ever. I know I'm going to. And you know how we end this thing. Until next time.